Hey guys, welcome to a spooky Halloween special episode of Slipping Out. In this one we're going to be going deep into the Black Hills forest in the new horror game Blair Witch, which I'm sure some of you will recognise the name probably from the not so great film. Thankfully the game is pretty good, so we're going to go ahead and take a peek at some of the behind the scenes parts to the game that you wouldn't normally get to see during normal gameplay. Alright, so first of all we park up and head into the forest, but just before we do I want to show you something pretty crazy that I found inside Ellis's truck. Now I'm not sure whether it's supposed to be an Easter egg or something like that, but it's to do with this form that's hanging out the dashboard. Now the form is a US Army document, but check out the name on the form. Sorry for the bad impression, but yes, you are reading that correctly. It's for Elvis Presley. Now I know from history lessons that the King of Rock and Roll was indeed in the US Army from 1958 until 1960. However, what is his name doing on a document in a horror game set in 1996? I'm sure this must be some sort of Easter egg or a developer having a good old chuckle to themselves knowing that this is here, and this is why I love exploring and showing you guys these videos, because I just never know what I'm going to find whilst making them. A little further into the game we have to connect up a battery on this truck to get the headlights to come on. Now once we've done this we jump inside and start the motor. However, when we do we get transported to another part of the forest.
But how?
Well, it's actually pretty simple how. If you watch carefully, you can see a blackout for literally one frame, which allows us in that time to be teleported. And if we now fly back to the section of forest we teleported from, you'll see there is nothing left behind, except for our dog Bullet, but I'll explain that one a little later. Speaking of teleporting and transitions, let's take a look at how one of these works. I'm not going to be showing too many of these in the video, as throughout the whole game there are quite a few that happen and it will take way too long to film them all. But this is a great example of one happening in a separate area of the map whilst the scene is taking place on camera, just to give you a good idea of what's going on behind the scenes.
What is it, Bullet? What'd you find? Alright, good boy, good boy. Now move aside. Oh, shh, it's okay, buddy. I don't like it either. Just let me take a look and we'll be on. Jesus Christ! No, it can't be it. Emmett! We were just... I don't understand. Emmett. Oh, God.
At this point we're being chased through the swamp by a helicopter, and just in case you were wondering, as it can be pretty difficult to see in the spotlight, yes, there is a full model of the helicopter, which looks pretty cool actually. Not sure where it's shooting us from though. Also, if you've played the game, you may have noticed that no matter where you get to in the swamp, if you do get shot, you always see this tree. That again is because just as you get shot, there is a blackout just before we fall. At the end of the swamp we enter this huge tree, and as always with huge trees, I naturally wanted to know what was behind it. The good thing about this one is we can fly between the roots and get a look inside. Here you can see the tunnel that we enter from the swamp, but not only that, the separate section of tunnel that we spawn inside during the next chapter. This is the city section of the game, and it only features for a small amount of time, hence the reason why when I fly the camera out to take a look there really isn't too much to see, but I did want to include it just in case anybody out there wondered what it looked like from above. Here are some other shots of behind the scenes footage that I managed to capture.
I don't like him either. We'll be out of here soon. Just a little further. Boy will die. He has to die. Such is her will. Go on, boy. Check it out. like the look of this, buddy. Not one bit. So what is it? Another body?
Wouldn't you like to know?
What? I don't understand.
You're almost there. Almost free. Just one more step. That's all it takes.
You want me to kill myself?
I gave you what you wanted all these years. No, kill the dog. Bury it.
What? No. No!
It'll be quick. Think about it. I could have left you a knife.
No, I will not kill Bullet.
But this is where you draw the line.
I should have drawn one long ago. I'm not doing this anymore.
Oh, you brought this on yourself. On the boy.
Stop hiding behind a child, you coward!
Ah!
God damn it! What the? No. That's impossible. Bullet, no!
Alright, so earlier we spoke about Bullet being left behind during one of the transitions. Well, actually he didn't get left behind, because in some instances of the game there are two bullets. Just another neat little trick that developers often do. Coming towards the end of the game now, we enter the house that suddenly appears, and even though it may look relatively small from outside, once you enter it, it genuinely does feel like you could get lost forever inside here, and this last couple of chapters probably took as long to film as all of the others put together, because there is just so much going on inside this house. In fact, I could actually have made a full-length video inside here. One of the first things I came across, and I genuinely still have no idea why this room exists as I was never able to get inside, but this storage room seems to be hidden behind some of the doors throughout the house, and even though the icon appears to try the doors, they are always locked. If anyone has managed to get inside here, please leave a comment and let me know how you did it. One of the other rooms I wanted to take a look at was the bathroom, as we never really get to see it before it changes to the rundown version of itself, so I thought we'd take a look. By heading out into the forest, we can find a couple of characters that you may have noticed wandering around outside, or you may not have, but the fact is they are out here, one of them being the sheriff. This actually kinda gives me the heebie-jeebies, knowing this guy in particular is wandering around out here stalking us. During the hospital section of the house, I know that probably sounds crazy, especially if you haven't played the game, but just go with me on this one. I took a closer look at these notice boards, and by getting closer with the camera we can see the pictures fairly clearly, although I'm not entirely sure who they are of, or what this newspaper section has to do with anything, but it does mention some big names in Hollywood like Mark Harmon, Jodie Foster and Mel Gibson. I'm also sure I've seen this somewhere else before too. Alright guys, it's the big moment, you know, the one where the witch tries to make us look at her, but if we so much as take a peek we die instantly. Well, I was really hoping at this point I could show you exactly what the witch looked like. Unfortunately I can't, because no matter how much I tried I couldn't get a shot of her face. I'm not even sure she has one. This is something I'm going to have to work on with the lighting of the game and see if I can come up with something to be able to show her full model. You may have noticed I've decided to turn the brightness to full for this clip, as otherwise you can't really see what I'm about to show very well. Once we get to the end of the hole that we crawl down, I'll fly the camera out to take a look at this pretty awesome skybox that surrounds this part of the map, which I don't think you'd normally know was here without being able to move the camera. Not only that, but there is a little something extra hidden underneath where we're playing too. Last but not least, we're heading right back to where it all began to show something that I've not done throughout the video, which is what's outside the forest. As you probably already know, this is not just one giant map, it's broken down into lots of sections, and to be honest there isn't a lot that I've found outside the playable areas of much interest. However, I did manage to find Ellis's head in the ground. That was until I realised by going under the map his whole model is down here. But it did freak me out at first, thinking I'd found a decapitated head. So that is it for this episode. If you are celebrating Halloween, I hope you have a great time and take care, and I'll catch you soon.
What the? No, like I can't take it anymore. Make it stop!